Welcome back for video number 19 in our February Quick Strike video series. Today we are going to cover pricing sheets, spreadsheets. But before we get started, let's just spend a little time reminding ourselves where we are when we enter Quick Strike for the first time. We've just logged in and we're landing on the Market Dashboard Product Overview page. Uh, Remember, we can click on symbols that are futures or expirations. We can also click on strikes here, click on a strike, and we get some details about that strike, right? So just remember, keep looking around, watch the videos. We're always going to start off with a little bit of reminder of where we are, and then we'll get started with the rest of our video. So let's get started with pricing sheets, spreadsheets today. So you'll see we just, this page might look familiar from a few seconds ago when we clicked on the strike to get the strike detail pop-up. This is where we landed. We saw a pop-up version of this page. So we made this page available as an embedded sheet to make it more accessible, make it easier to manipulate in terms of navigating between strikes, and also make it printable because this becomes a very popular page to print within Quick Strike. So currently we're on the March contract. Let's move out a little bit and go into the June contract. We get a little bit better prices there because of the days to expiration. So as you see, there's an analysis bar up here on top, and you can make changes here, and that will affect a change down in the sheet itself to be repriced. You can change your volatility, your days expiration, your forwards. Strike mode's not going to affect it so much here because the sheet is geared towards spreads, and then advanced I don't use too much over here as well. So mostly spending my time changing futures vol and days to expiration. So if I click the blue arrow, it's going to revert me back to where we started. So let's just explain what happens here. So right now, when you enter, it's always going to default to the at the money strike, okay? And when I click on other strikes, it's going to show, you'll see that that other strike will show up here on the left for most as the first strike, and then down here in the irons for the middle, we'll explain that. But let's go back to our at the money and talk about how this page is structured. So what we do here is we anchor the strike at the one selected. So in this case, we're on the call side and the put side. We give you some details about that. We're showing you some details up here about the at the money itself in terms of where vols are, and if you're in an interest rate product, we show you the Black-Scholes and the basis point volatility, showing you some straddle price and the Greeks associated with that, as well as the general Greeks associated with the individual call and put. Um, on the left side, like I said, we have the calls, and you'll see that we start out with the individual call itself, and then we have spreads, 1x2s, flies, ladders, condors, and then iron flies. And you'll see that the strike, as I mentioned, is anchored by the strike that's selected. And then if you're familiar with the Eurodollars, this is a one strike step for the first line, and this is a two strike step in the second, 3, and then 4. So what you have here is pre-built, pre-priced 1, 2, 3, and 4 strike wide spreads, both for call and the put. And the same thing here for 1x2s. So we're anchored on the selected strike, and then we build. For the call side, we go higher in strike to get a call spread. For the put side, we go down a strike, or down 2 strikes, or down 3, or down 4. And the same thing goes for all of the spreads. Now, the only difference that you will notice here is that on the iron flies, we center the strike that's selected, because typically that's how you would think about it. You know, you can get the iron fly value from the call and put fly value, but we put the iron fly there because it's nice to see what it is, and you might want to chart it as well. On the strangle side, we also have on the put side, we also have strangles. Now you notice that the strike is conspicuously absent over here. So what we do is we create one strike around that strike. So we have the 99.25 strike. So we go one strike down and get the put, one strike up to get the call, to build one strike wide straddle around that strike, and then a 2 strike wide, 3 strike, 4 strike, etc. So what you have is everything's priced. You have the delta and the settle, and you see what your change is. And if you notice, as I've been moving around, the descriptions for these spreads, they turn into links. So what does that mean? So that means that you can click on them, and I'll bring this window into view, and it pre-builds that spread for you. So you can see take a look at it, see what the price is, the deltas. It's just going to be an expanded version of what you're seeing on that line. And again, you could play with it. You can print it out as a PDF, that kind of stuff. So we make it easy for you to sort of investigate what these spreads look like, and give you a quick access to potentially creating those reports for somebody if you want to print it out, or print it out for yourself, or keep an eye on it, or or play with it a little bit more thoroughly than you can in the screen here itself. Okay, so the links turn in, the descriptions turn into links, and those pop up to get you a more detailed look at the actual trade strategy report. And you also notice there's a little wrench over here. And generally, like we've talked about, if there's an icon with text, it's a button, and if there's an icon, it's more than likely going to be something you can click as well. So if we click on this, and again, I apologize, the hovers aren't working on the video, so you would hover it would say create this, and if I click on it, it's going to take me to the trade builder, which we've covered in a previous video, and it's built this spread. So it's already here on the report section, but if I go over to the position, you're going to see that it built this call spread, this two strike wide call spread, 99.25, 99.50. Okay, so that's a quick way to get started with this spread as at least the base for a trade you want to build. And it happens on both sides. You click the wrench here, it's going to build a call side. Click the wrench here, it's going to build a put side. Okay, so this is the summary page. So this is giving you everything all in one place. Okay, now what you can do here, if you see it says spreads, and we'll cover one of these so you can get a good idea how these work. We'll cover the call and put spreads because the examples work for the rest of the tabs as well. So if I click on this, what you're going to see now is you're going to see a little bit more complicated sheet, but in reality, it's not that bad once I explain what it is. So again, we have our analysis bar, right? You see that, you should be familiar with that after all the videos here. And the difference, what you'll notice here is a strike width. So right now, what we're displaying is one strike wide call and put spreads. And you'll see there's one strike, two strike, three strikes, and four strike wide. So let's go to two, since that's what we've been clicking on around here. And let's take a look at the sheet and learn how to read it, okay? So you'll see in this white section, we're just giving the strike and the call and the put value. So this is just the regular values, like the mini middle section of the pricing sheet. Now let's step over here to the put side and take a look. So what you'll notice here is you've got 5.71 here and 2.24 and 0.99. So when we come over here, what we want to know about this value is how it got calculated, right? So let's talk about how it got calculated. We know we're on two strikes wide. So you can think of this as if I'm hovering on a strike and I'm on the two strike wide call and put spread, in this case, I can say I'm going to start here and I'm going to go 1, 2. So 5.71 minus 0.99, or essentially 1, is going to give me 4.71. And the math for that is over here. So it's x0. You should always think of x0 as where you're hovering your mouse. So in this case, I'm hovering over the 99.25 strike. So that's x0, and then you got to go 2 down, and that's why it says a -2. So I go 2 down and strike 1, 2. So I take 5.71 minus 0.99, and it's going to give me 4.71 approximately, okay? And the same thing occurs over here on the call side, except this time you're going to notice there's a plus sign here in the equation. So, and it's x0, where I'm hovering my mouse, minus the premium associated with the other strike, right? So in this case, let's take a look. I have for the 99.25, 37.5, and 50, I have a 10.2, 3.75, and 1.55 as my value. So if I hover over this, I'm on x0. So I'm taking 10.20 and I'm going 1, 2, and I'm subtracting 1.55, which is going to give me 8.65. So I have a two strike wide call spread. So it's that simple in terms of getting the premium for the spread itself. And what this page was originally designed for is so people can get a quick look at values of the spreads that generally trade in the market. In this case, in the rates, this is very common where they have 1, 2, 3, and 4 strike wide spreads. So it's a quick and easy way to get at what the price is, where it's settled, what the changes, and then the Greeks associated with those spreads as well. So you're going to see the Greeks on the put side, Greeks on the call side, and then you're going to see how the volatility difference for those strikes as well. So that same math applies across these different spreadsheets. So I'm still on two strikes wide. So if I'm doing a 1x2, let's do one example here in another sheet. If I'm on a 1x2 and this is my x0, I go 1, 2, and now I have 2 times 0.99, or approximately 1.99 here. As we saw, there was some rounding up. So let's just subtract 1.99 from 5.71, and we have 3.72. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. This sheet, this strike list sheet, like I said, is available on the strike pop-up as well. You're not able to click anywhere here to get that, but this is the first thing you see on the strike pop-up. but you get the expanded sheets for both the call and put spreads, the 1x2s for both the butterflies, the trees, and the condors. Okay, so that is the strike list detail that you're seeing right here, but this is all part of the spreadsheets, pricing sheets, spreadsheets. We call this the strike detail, you know, kind of that's the key phrase, the key term we use to describe this page, the strike detail or the strike list. So that's it for today. We are getting really close to having videos that cover pretty much everything within QuickStrike. Over the weekend, we'll probably do some. Well, today's Friday. We'll probably do some shorter ones to push us through to Monday, and then next week we're gonna cover option matrix and the futures info, since these have been being rehabilitated over the last couple of weeks. They're ready to go, and they should be available for us to do a demo very shortly. So thanks again, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.